If you have a secure job and you know there must be more to life because I don't really like what I do for a living, you want to get into content creation, sports content, and you just don't know how to start, or maybe you're just too scared to start, that's why this interview is going to help you. I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein, and this is Betting on Yourself. Joining the Betting on Yourself podcast today, Cameron Guzzo, who I met at a Yankees game, and I couldn't believe that he said he was a shy guy who's an engineer who decided to just really take that leap of faith, bet on himself, and jump into sports content. How on earth did you get started from engineer to now a content creator with over 100,000 followers on multiple platforms?
Well, for one, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. And yeah, it's just I love sports so much. It was like kind of right after COVID, like a little COVID time where I was so bored and like didn't have didn't have too much going on. I just started working full time and like I was scrolling through TikTok and I was like, man, I really like want to see like a certain kind of content that I'm not seeing. So I just figured baseball season was starting. Why don't I just do it myself and see how it goes? It started with no name, no face on my account. Used the little robot voice on TikTok, and now it's grown to what it is today. So yeah, it's just pure passion. Like I just every video you see is something I'm really passionate about. So that's how it started, and that's how I've kept it going for
Wait, so you
years.
started faceless. Why?
Yeah, I think I was just really shy and like maybe a little self-conscious, just like putting myself out there. I had never done anything like that. I'm not like an outgoing guy by nature. I think the years of doing content, I have stepped out of my comfort zone. It's become more of my personality, but I think I'm naturally more introverted.
Well, a lot of people feel that way who might be
Mhm.
watching, people that look at what you do, what we do, sports content. That sounds so fun, but I'm a shy person. How did you have the confidence then to take that leap on yourself?
I mean, it was baby steps. Like at first, I would use my voice and not my face, and then I finally used my face. And like filming in public was kind of a hard step at first, just seeing people look at you. And the more that time went on, the easier that got for me. Just try to convince yourself people's opinions don't matter. You don't know these people. They see you for a half second, and whatever comes out of it is worth the half second of judgment, kind of thing. But I think it's just repetition, learning to take the hateful comments and just not even put any stock into them and just kind of push them to the side. It definitely isn't something that came like right away, like a snap of a finger for me, but I think the more you work at it and the more reps you have, the easier it becomes.
You start faceless. You said that you wanted to create something that you didn't really see was out there yet. You do so many things now, but let's start from the beginning. What was that niche that you carved out for yourself that started to gain a following?
My first thing that I like based my whole account on was baseball stadiums. I'm just so passionate about them and how unique MLB stadiums can be. Everyone has their own little intricacies and traits and things
And you've
like
hit
that.
all 30, right?
I did, yeah. Last year, I finally finished my quest, which was awesome. But
Wow.
just being able to share like the little secrets, the little hidden gems in different ballparks, that was what I really started on. And I think the video, the one specific video that really popped off first was a just like a funny video of it was like things that just make sense at Fenway Park with that like funny Italian music and all like the really weird old quirks at Fenway Park. That video did
That's
crazy
crazy
numbers.
that was you, by the way. I saw
Yeah,
that video.
yeah, that did a couple million, and that was my first taste of like, whoa, people like find at least some interest in the things that I notice going to stadiums. So like maybe there's room here for me to grow.
And the other insecurity people have would be finances. People
Mhm.
say, oh, he must have mommy and daddy pay for this, or he must have someone backing him. So many creators I know do this on their own to get started. How did you have the finances to get started traveling so much?
Yeah, I what you just said, I get that comment like kind of frequently, and it always makes me laugh because no, it wasn't mommy daddy money kind of thing. Like I made a decision very early on, as soon as I started making just a little bit of money from content, that any money I make, I reinvest back into traveling and going to see more stadiums and making more videos out of it. So for the first few years, every cent that I made went back into that. And luckily now I'm fortunate enough that it's gotten to a point where I am not using all of it. I'm able to um, use it for other purposes. But it was very much like I am stable in my full-time job, so anything extra is just reinvesting in myself, and I do feel like it paid off. I'm glad I was able to get that advice early on.
You have a quote unquote real job. You're an
Mhm.
engineer, correct?
Yes.
So how do you feel that it fit this in content creator world with your real job?
It's tricky, like, you have to be creative. Luckily, I have a full-time job and a boss who's really flexible, like, I work from home, and I'm able to get my 40 hours in a week, and, at this point, I'm probably working 40 hours on content too, so I have some long weeks working at late at night, on the weekends, that kinda thing, and every once in a while, I'll be working remote in a hotel room, like, if I can fit it in that way, so just be creative. It helps a ton having a remote job. If I didn't have that, I don't know where I would be right now. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's a lot of long nights, but I'd say it's well worth it.
The grind always pays off, and I
Mhm.
know we'll get to maybe full-time sports content creation in a second. A lot of people could start right away and say, I want to do TikTok, I want to do Instagram, I want to do YouTube, I want to be everywhere. It's really hard to be everywhere. How much did you just focus on one first and then branch out? Or were you the person that did try to do everything at once?
No, for the first full year, I was only TikTok. I had an Instagram account, but that was just like personal, like photos and that kind of thing. And after my first full year, I started cross posting on Instagram and YouTube just because I saw the potential there, and I had already like kind of proven myself in a way on TikTok. So it was easy just to take those same videos and post them elsewhere. But yeah, just I do think it was really beneficial just focusing on TikTok and like discovering how that algorithm works and just kind of learning is definitely becomes less of an overwhelming thing if you start at one and then once you kind of prove yourself move on to the other platforms.
Now you're on the goal for YouTube, trying to hit 100K. What's the YouTube channel again? I know you're at 67,000 at the moment.
Yeah, it's the same as my Instagram, just Cameron Guzzo, and, yeah, I've tried really hard to work on the long form over there. It's just with how limited time I have, it's been tough. I'm prioritizing the short form. Hopefully someday I'll be able to get long form back and going again.
Well, it's funny. I was a broadcast major. As a broadcast major, you learn so much about editing and audio and video. You're an engineer, which is like a whole nother brain.
Mhm.
How did you know how to do all of this?
It's just fully self-taught, like, if you go back to my first ever TikToks, you have to scroll for a while, but it's, like it's pretty cringy, like, the editing is rough, the voiceovers are tough, like, it was very much a trial and error. I think I got a lot of TikToks when I was first starting about, like, tips and tricks and that kinda thing, and, little by little, I start to learn things, and, it's kinda crazy how much you learn over multiple years, just you kinda don't think about it or realize how much you've learned until you're, like, maybe teaching somebody else or, like, looking back on your old content, but, just trial and error is a big part of it. CapCut has been a big part of it for me. That's my
Mhm.
go-to like editing app. So just trying and like repetition. That's basically what I could say.
It takes a lot of work to work a full-time job and also do sports content. Not only is it the editing, not only is it the travel, it's the ideas. You have to
Mhm.
brainstorm all the time how to stay fresh on air, how to stay fresh in content. What goes into your brainstorming?
It's weird because like a lot of the things that are staples for me, like the worst seat in stadiums, the food reviews and stuff like that, it really comes so naturally as like even before I made content, that's what I thought about. So like it does take a little work on how to like get those concepts into like an edible form like for the
No pun
algorithms.
intended.
Yeah, exactly. For like prioritizing the algorithms is probably the hardest part. But like I walk around a stadium and I see things and like I have millions of ideas. Like I try to keep like a note on my phone, just like anything I can think of and like follow that. But just I don't know, maybe it's like a unique situation for me. Just it's just like the way my brain works when I'm there. It's just like I have ideas and the hard part is just like kind of cookie cutting, like fitting it into a video. That's like the hardest part and script writing and stuff like that.
When people want to get started, watching your content saying, I want to do what Cameron does, yet they'll say, but Cameron's doing it and someone else is doing it. Other people are content creators. There's so many of them. How do I differentiate myself? How'd you find the way to differentiate yourself?
I feel like longevity is the biggest factor in differentiating yourself. Like you can think about it from a like a following like fan base point. You can think about it from a sponsorship point. Like if you just show that you're consistent and like you're posting every day, like you're coming up with new ideas, like you're staying fresh, you're still excited about it in the videos, like your excitement and passion still comes through. I think that stands out. Like content is a grind, and you see it a lot of the times where people get big really fast and they burn out and they fall off and they stop posting. Like I'd say avoiding burnout while being able to stay consistent is like the biggest key. And I struggled with burnout for a while the first couple of years, especially right after baseball season ended, with baseball being my prime focus. But just making sure that you like create systems for yourself, like if you want to like batch record things and schedule them so you're not working every single day on videos, things like that. And just whatever you can to get rest, to get family time, anything to avoid burnout is like the biggest thing.
Especially when you're working two jobs.
Mhm.
The algorithm, that burns me out. Having to
Mhm.
figure out every freaking algorithm between YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X. How'd you nail down the algorithms?
I mean, I still wouldn't say I have. Like, it's always a work in progress, and like a lot of the times, like you hear like, oh, the algorithm's like being mean to me, or like TikTok changed, like TikTok's not giving out views anymore, like that kind of stuff, and like to a certain extent I understand, but at the same time, like I do feel like good content prevails. And it is tiring. I would say one thing that like really works right now is shareability, like creating content that people will send to their friends. That's
Mhm.
like kind of the main thing at this point. And it's hard. It's a lot of looking at metrics. I try not to like get lost in them too much, but there is a certain aspect of it that you have to focus on, and you have to also accept that you'll just never know. Like keep your consistency up, even if the views are down. That's kind of the big thing that I think your followers and fans will appreciate.
You never know which one's going to take off and change
Mhm.
everything. Speaking of changing everything, let's talk money. Money is what makes the world go around and what makes people excited about content creation, because you could do what you love for one of the first times ever and make money from it. But
Mhm.
when we spoke at the Yinka game, you told me it's taken you some time to finally turn this into something somewhat profitable. What was that first moment for you where you said, "Oh, I could really make a living off this"?
Well, it's interesting because TikTok's creator fund pays like a pretty decent amount if you get views. Your video has to be over 1 minute long, and every video is different. Like the rate at which you earn like dollar per view is always changing. But I think for me, like getting the first like real brand deal was really exciting and huge.
Who was your
The
first brand deal?
oh man, I don't honestly don't remember. It was a couple years ago at this point. It wasn't anything crazy either. It was like a couple $100, but I think it was a ticket company, and it, like fits pretty well with my content. And that was an eye opener. And last year I worked with an MLB team. I worked with the Washington Nationals for a full season
Oh.
on a series of videos, and that was probably my like I made it kind of moment. And like I was really like thrilled. Like I still have the check. It's like a check from an MLB team. I put it in a frame.
How
Like
did that connection come about?
I just got a cold email outreach one day of like, "Hey, we love your content. We'd love to schedule a meeting just to talk about like ideas that we're having." And
Wow.
yeah, and it's turned into I had to deal with them. I worked with the White Sox this year
And you're
on a
based out of Massachusetts, right?
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of funny you're getting all these offers from other MLB teams that have nothing to do with the Red Sox.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like the event that we met at Yankee Stadium, I go to those all the time in different cities, and pretty much everybody's like local to that area, and I'm always like the oddball out. Like I think I just have found a niche of where like I can make content on any city in the world really about sports, and like it can catch on if it gets the right audience, which is pretty awesome.
It's funny, so many people used to say network TV, that's the big thing. That's why I went to broadcast school. You don't need network TV anymore. You just need to be Cameron Guzzo, and you are a national superstar with hundreds of thousands of followers across all social media. I love that your story is the exact story I've been going for here on Betting on Yourself. Most people go through the motions of going to college, graduating with a degree, getting a 9 to 5 job. Eventually, like you said with burnout, people get burnt out because it's not really a passion for many people. And you've now found your passion, something that's brought out a side of you that you might not have even known existed. For someone that just wants to get started today, but still has their 9 to 5 job, what's your advice?
Just rip the Band-Aid off. Like, if you have a passion, you're like, "I would enjoy making content about that passion," just do it. Like, there's gonna be a million reasons that you convince yourself not to. Like, I made up excuses for myself all the time about why I shouldn't have my face out there, why I shouldn't make certain videos like this, but like you said, it takes one video and, like, it could really change your life in a very positive way. Like, you'll always have excuses. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't follow up and at least give it a shot. See if there are other people out in the world that are interested in the same thing as you, and you'd probably be surprised. I figure myself to be like quite the sports slash baseball nerd, and I thought I was kind of a like an oddball for like thinking the way that I do, but like clearly a lot of people think and feel the same way. So you never know until you actually try.
How long did it take from start video one to making money?
I had a brand deal within 2 months
Okay.
of starting content, which was shocking to me. Like, I started not even thinking about the money aspect. I just thought it'd be fun, and I already go to a lot of games, so I'll just make the videos. And it was quick, and it didn't like it's not like a exponential growth kind of thing. Like, you go through like the highs and lows with it,
Mhm.
but it I think I see people like even very like comparatively low follower accounts, like just a thousand or two followers get brand deals. Like
Yeah.
it's possible that companies want very niched out accounts to be sharing. So
Yeah, everyone has to try to stand out in some way and be different, and you
mhm,
just never know what different is going to help you out the
yeah.
most. As an engineer, now sports content creator, how much do you want content to be your full-time job, or do you like the stability of having the full-time job too?
I really that's the biggest thing that I like wrestle with in my mind. Like I love the stability of just like having that income that I can count on. That's one thing that's like really tricky with content, and it's why you see some people go full time and then it doesn't really work out is like it's so unpredictable. Like especially like TikTok, I have the creator fund that I mentioned, but it's so variable every month. Like you never know what you're gonna get. The brand deals come and go. Like unless you're one of the multiple million follower accounts, like you never know. So I do like the security. Maybe I'll be full time someday. I am curious to see what I can do with more time with my content, but we'll have to see. Right now, I'm in a spot where I have found my like. I work a lot of hours, but I've kind of like found my ability of what to do and how much I can extend myself. So there's no rush at the moment.
As long as you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. It's a saying
Exactly.
for a reason.
Exactly.
Where do you see the sports content world going in the next few years?
I it's hard to say because like you mentioned like network TV. I do see it becoming the new network TV in a lot of ways. Like the first thing that comes to mind is like coverage at like the MLB All-Star game. Like they have the red carpet show and you're starting to see like creators on there doing the
Mhm.
role that like MLB Network or ESPN would do is like with interviewing players and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And there are a lot of sports accounts out there right now that are doing a fantastic job and uh, being rewarded with the followers and the brand deals and all that stuff. So um, everybody's eyes are on social media. I'd say more so than the TV these days, and I really
Mhm.
do think it's growing at a rate that's would be surprising to people if you're not in the industry. I think there's so much money to be had. I think there's so many eyeballs to be had. Like it's I think it's in a really good spot right now.
I know you mentioned baseball a lot. How much are you branching out into other sports?
Yeah, so I started first couple of years only baseball. Then I started this past season branching out into football and hockey. Those are my two other favorite sports outside of baseball, and it's been cool. I, in the interest of being full time and making more of a living out of the content, I think it makes more sense to go into the other sports. And I don't have the same exact passion as I do for baseball, but I still love them. And I feel like a lot of the content pillars that I run my baseball content on can work in other sports. So I think it's a pretty natural fit. And as of recently, I've been branching out into the Olympics, World Cup, and stuff like that. And there are like an inconceivable amount of eyes on those events. So like I think the sky really is the limit with like focusing on other sports.
I saw your World Cup stuff. The algorithm loves you, sports loves you, baseball loves you. Cameron Guzzo, thank you so much for coming on Betting on Yourself. And thank you for the content world and betting on yourself, because it could really use really special, niche, individual, unique people like you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was fun.